Motorsports here at the Waterford Speedbowl. So at this time, we ask you to please rise, and gentlemen, please remove your hats. Our flag today is at half-mast because of the death earlier today of former President of the United States, Ronald Reagan. So to honor his memory and remember his contributions to America, we ask that you please observe with us a moment of silence for former President Ronald Reagan. Thank you. And now we are delighted to have with us tonight to perform the national anthem, Carolyn Renee Fleischauer of Guilford, Connecticut, Miss Nutmeg Teen America for 2004. And now, to honor the greatest country in the world, here is our national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly stealing, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
An outstanding job by Carolyn Renee Fleischauer of Guilford, Connecticut. So we are ready. It is Race of Champions night here at the Waterford Speedbowl. We will have an outstanding night of motorsports. So we are ready to bring it on. And let's go upstairs to Mark Fish.
This is incredibly competitive week in and week out. The Sportsman Division, we're just about ready to get underway as the Chevrolet Super Sport pickup truck heads to the infield. On the front row, it's the number 2 of Tim Fogg and Jay Lozniak in the number 28. They'll make their way back around the track. They'll be coming towards the starting line down here on the front straightaway. And at the exit of turn number 4, coming to that starting line, Fogg and Lozniak will set the pace for this race. And they're off and running with Lozniak as Fogg checks up. Made it 3 wide there for a moment. Quite a scramble towards the front of the field. Lozniak out there by himself. In the number 28, looks like Tim Fogg with major handling issues with the number 2 as he's dropping back to the back of the pack like a rock.
Meanwhile, the issue trying to be decided for second. Pete Brockett getting a shove from Keith Rocco in car number 13, but even that doesn't help as Dan Darmstadt takes second. Good mobility on the outside groove. Dwayne Dorr is in the hunt, battling for third alongside Pete Brockett.
So that's a great battle going on for third. Keith Rocco looking for some running room to get up towards the front. Dwayne Conant at the number 89 trying to make his presence felt. Of course, a winner already in the 2004 season. That's the driver of the 89 trying to go forward in the field. A whole lot of traffic out there, like 95 on a Friday night.
Well, Jay Lozniak has had a lot of headaches so far in 2004, but right now he has the front of the field all to himself. Power move, Dwayne Dorr, as he just blurs his way into second ahead of Darmstadt, but he goes up high in the groove, and that will cost him some positions as he took the scenic route, and by the time he got back down to earth, he was in 5th place.
So Keith Rocco working the outside groove in the number 13, trying to go by Dwayne Conant and catch Dan Darmstadt in the 0. Of course, Jay Lozniak out there all by himself, headed back almost to Westport as far as he's concerned, in the number 1 spot in car number 28.
You almost need Doppler radar to keep track of Jay Lozniak in the front of the field. Dwayne Conan is making a nice move. He is in 4th place, knocking on the back bumper of the 0 of Darmstadt. And now starting to pick up momentum on the outside, Keith Rocco. And give Rocco the number 2 position.
Trust me, we know what Doppler radar looks like after today. And working on that outside group, that's Keith Rocco and Dwayne Dorr in hot pursuit. Dorr now challenges for the 3rd spot on the speedway. He's out there racing side by side with Dan Darmstadt as Keith Rocco looks on along with Dwayne Conan.
Now it is Walt Hovey making some fine moves as he is at about 7th place. Following him is Jim Procaccini. And then it is Sean Curtis battling with Norman Root. We know how tough Root is, especially during the later stages of a race.
Well, Sean Curtis looked real good in the heat races a little bit earlier here tonight and could be a force to be reckoned with, not only tonight but for the rest of the year as they're getting that car dialed in. And we know how that was. He's won back-to-back features through the 2003 season with that same car.
As they swing around the corner, Conan able to hold off Darmstadt, in trouble Procaccini as he was shoved into the grass off of turn number 1. So Procaccini is able to keep that car rolling, but we are under yellow, and Sean Curtis, he made contact with the wall, and the steam is pouring out of that car. So Curtis in trouble.
Once again, the lights are off around the Waterford Speedbowl. We're ready to go back to green flag racing when they get back to the restart line in turn number 4. They're approaching that area right now. It'll be interesting to see how Wozniak approaches it, and he's approaching it full steam ahead, putting the number 28 back out in front of the field. Keith Rocco in hot pursuit. But here comes a gentleman in number 15 that knows how to put a car into the winner's circle. That's Dwayne Dorr in the number 15. In fact, he did that a little bit earlier this evening. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that racing progresses as he is currently in the 3rd spot.
One of the most improved drivers at the bowl is owning the number 4 spot. That's Dwayne Conan. The most intense action is for 5th and 6th. Walt Hovey is locked up with Dan Darmstadt. Darmstadt in trouble, heads to the wall, makes contact with the fence. Dan Darmstadt hit it with a rear panel. So a crippled vehicle, car number 0, Dan Darmstadt, but we stay under green.
Like a Timex watch, he takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Out there in that 0, well, he's doing his ticking way back in the field. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Jay Lozniak, Keith Rocco, Dwayne Dorr, and Dwayne Conan are your top 4. And another guy that's been in the winner's circle in 2004, that's Bill McNeil in the 44. He's currently holding down the 5th spot.
2 drivers almost body pierced together in a battle for 2nd and 3rd. Dwayne Dorr putting the squeeze job on Rocco. Here comes Keith, and the yellow comes out as the 9. Is in trouble. Hollinger. So Kurt Hollinger of Brantford, the car in distress in turn 2. And we have our 2nd yellow of the event coming out with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, Hollinger right under the connect.
Big grounds. Jay Lozniak has to prove himself again against Keith Rocco. Lurking in the 2nd row is the combination of Dorr and Conan. We get up to speed. Here comes Lozniak, and the car was late at getting onto the track. The yellow comes out as Billy Hannell came out onto the track just when we were ready to restart. That was all.
Green flag racing. Here they are, Lozniak with a great spot. Currently 12th in the point standings, trying to improve on that right now with a win tonight as he's side by side with the number 13 of Keith Rocco. Rocco, great young driver, the number 13, finished 2nd in the points last year to Edgerts Jr., so has proven himself many times. Dwayne Dorr knocking at the door of Lozniak, trying to get by, trying to find some running room. That's the driver, the number 15.
2 cars sandwiched together, and now Dwayne Dorr gets the upper hand. Keith Rocco hanging tough in 3rd as he is all over the 15 like aftershave lotion as they dart across the stripe.
Don't count out Dwayne Conan. He's side by side with the number 15 of Dwayne Dorr. That's the battle on the track right now. The one for 3rd as they make the final charge next time by. Ladies and gentlemen, there'll be 5 to go. Signal to the field. 5 to go. Signal to the field as Lozniak and Dwayne Dorr locked in quite a bit of combat out there.
And a little contact too, but Dorr was able to launch himself into the lead with Loziak second. Here comes Dwayne Conant. Bold move, daring move on the bottom. He can make it stick as he challenges Loziak for second.
Doing a little bit of skating out there was the number 89 of Dwayne Conant. You saw him get a little bit loose coming out of turn number 4. Managed to reel that car in and continue to stay in the second spot on the speedway. Dwayne Dorr with a great move put the number 15 out in front with only 3 laps left to go.
Dwayne Conant, who has won already this year, now is chasing after Dwayne Dorr. Remember, those 2 cars battled for the lead earlier this year, and it was Conant getting knocked out of the lead. Let's see what happens here with 2 laps to go. Dorr being chased by Conant. McNeil fighting with Wozniak for third.
So Dwayne Conant on the charge towards the finish line right now. He's already got a feature win under his belt in 2004 as we see Ed Clark doing a little bah-high down the straightaway in the number 8. Looks like he will keep it down low. So our folks in the lead pack can race this one out. 1 lap left to go. Looks like Dwayne Dorr trying to take home a victory as Fast Fred Smith spins around out there. Here comes Dwayne Dorr in front of the field. Dwayne Conant right behind him, and Dwayne Dorr will take home the victory. Followed by Conant, Bill McNeil, number 13 to Keith Rocco, and too close to call for the drivers behind them. It could have been Wozniak or it could have been Mark LaJoy. We'll have to find that out with the official scores. What is definite, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Buckler will be trackside with our winner Dwayne Dorr. Also the second finisher and third finisher will join Matt down in front, so we have a conversation with them. And if you haven't had a chance to visit our Town Fair Tire Victory Lane, make sure you do. Dealers of Simplicity Power Equipment include Ganos Power Equipment of Colchester, Daly's Power Equipment of Towlin, Connecticut, and Caldwell Power of Hamden. Right now, Dwayne Dorr has indeed pulled out onto the start-finish line. As we mentioned before, we're going to try to get all 3 of our top competitors to make their way to the front straightaway to talk to Matt Buckler as soon as they clear the scales. Quite a night here for Dwayne Dorr, as you mentioned before. He was interviewed. Gary mentioned before that it's been a tough week for Dwayne, a lot of emotional adversity for him this week, and coming out with a win here tonight, it's got to be quite a moment for this great driver of the number 15. Let's turn it over to Matt Buckler.
Okay, we're with our winner. He has a heavy heart tonight. He also has a win in our 20-lap sportsman feature, Dwayne Dorr. And Dwayne, it's supposed to be a happy moment for you, and it's also a sad moment. Could you tell us about that?
Well, my best friend passed away last Saturday, and he won this race for me today, you know. Right before we left today, I found a 4-leaf clover on the ground, and I think he left it for me. This win goes to him, and I hope he's at a better place.
Hey, Dwayne, I know early in the race, you got caught up on the outside. You dropped back a few spots, and it showed how much determination you had tonight to work your way up to the lead after that bad break early in the race.
Yeah, really, all I had to do was sit in this car. Something happened at the beginning of the race, and the thing bobbled, felt like it shut off, and I don't know, I started running strong at the end. First of all, I gotta wish my son a happy birthday. This is his 3rd birthday, and man, I don't know. I gotta thank my sponsors, Brent Race Engines, Churchill Builders, my crew, Mark, pretty much is my crew. We just keep working on this car, and it just gets faster. But man, I gotta thank the fans and my buddy Ben, who ain't here with us to enjoy the win.
We have to thank this man for a determination and effort of auto racing tonight, Dwayne Dorr. And the first to shake his hand is our second place driver, Dwayne Conant. Dwayne, I'd have to say, you're probably one of the most improved drivers in the division. What have you been doing differently this year to get all these top finishes?
I've just been working on the car. My brother sets it up real well. Just been watching him and learning what to do.
Did you think you had a chance maybe to catch Dwayne in the last 3 or 4 laps? You did make things interesting.
I don't know if I was able to pass him. I was able to catch him, but I don't know if I'd be able to get around him.
Okay, so that's the story here. The driver of car number 89, his great season continues, Dwayne Conant. And now to talk to our third place finisher, let's go to Gary.
Well, thanks, Matt. Bill McNeil started back in the 13th position. He finished third. Take us through your night.
We had an okay night. The car wasn't handling all that well, but the motor pulled me up to where I am now. And I got to thank Larry's Auto Machine. They built a great motor. My friend Gary, Flash, Corey, who I forgot to thank last time I got a chance, and Critical Signs. And that's about it.
What was it like working up toward the front?
It was fun. I was on the inside this week. Last week I got hung out and went back to 21st, but it was fun. I like this track. This is my first year here, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
How was the racetrack during your feature event?
The track was good. I screwed up setting the car up, but like I said, the motor pulled me, so I feel bad for Gary because it didn't look like the motor was doing anything, but it wasn't the car. It was the motor that was doing something.
Well, good strong run. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bill McNeil from 13th to 3rd tonight with car number 44. Mark?
Coachings out there, the number 36 in the hands of Kenny Schrader. It's going to be a very exciting race coming up just a little bit later. But right now on the track, the SK Modifieds for their feature event. Dan Burganti may have jumped the gun a tad on that one. We're going to have to see how that one shakes down as the yellow flag comes out. And indeed, Burganti jumped the gun.
You know, John Burganti jumped the gun way before the green flag was unleashed by Billy Dunn, so that was just a dress rehearsal. And now we'll go back to action. Johnny Burganti, as you said, started his career in the 60s in another track that's no longer with us, the old Playville Stadium, when he used to square off against guys like Tony Chapman Brito and Dave Alkus. Some names out of the past as we get ready to turn them loose. 35 lap SK Modified feature.
And once again, the green flag flies, man, and they're off and running in the SK Modified feature event. Jolt and Johnny Brower staying with John Burganti as they're side by side. Burganti working the outside groove, Brower on the inside. Don Fowler knocking on the door in the number 26, holding on to third.
Tommy Fox is in the mix early on. He is in fifth. Little contact as he tries to shove his way to the front. Ed Reed, he is on a mission early on. Ed Reed is in 7th place, and he is looking strong as they kick their way off the 4th turn.
Hard to miss the Mystic Pizza, number 72 automobile, making its way on the inside groove as these laps go by very quickly in these high-powered automobiles. John Brower Jr. looks like he's got a lot of his mechanical problems out of the way thus far as he sets a tourist pace.
Chris Druin stranded on the grass off of turn 4. And we have our first yellow of the festivities, or actually the second one on our opening restart. And that one there for a driver in distress, Chris Druin, and he will need a helping hand. No, he won't need a helping hand as he will fedges to his 2004 season. We'll see what kind of jump he gets on the restart. Alongside Burganti, here comes Brower. Green flag is out. Good battle as they head into turn 2.
As you can see, looking back through the pack, a lot of great side-by-side racing shaping up. Ron Janovic Jr. making his way to the front, and you see Ron Uhas Jr., Jeff Pearl. A lot of folks back there have a lot of ways to go to get towards the front, but if anybody can do it, these talented drivers can. We see some smoke coming out of one of the automobiles. That's Frank Cucciaro. Looks like he blew up to number 98.
And he makes contact with a one of Charette. He goes high toward the barrier. So the SOS is out and smoke coming out of the back of the car. He's got to be very careful not to get any liquid on his wheels and spin himself out.
Just keeping that car as straight as possible on the track. He's going to head to the infield. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, that's John Brower Jr. as that car goes up with a plume of smoke to number 98 of Frank Cucciaro. Meanwhile, coming through the smoke, that's John Brower Jr. and John Burganti trying to hold out, but now he's got to fight off Don Fowler.
And right behind those two drivers, Ed Reed knocking on the door along with Tom Fox. So our top 5 cars could fit inside a pizza box as they head into turn 4.
Some great driving out there on the part of these SK Modified drivers. Tom Fox in the number 47 trying to work the outside group. He's right behind Burganti, as is Ron Uhas Jr. and Chris Pastriak. as everybody's chasing Johnny Brower around the speedway. Down Fowler working the outside, trying to move in the first.
So Fowler has momentum on the outside. He is close enough to change the stations on Brower's radio as they head into the fourth turn.
Also making quite a move up there towards the front is Ed Reed Jr. and Ronnie Silk in the number 88. You talk about a move. There's one for you as we have contact out there against the wall for Genty and Tommy Fox coming together. And the bad luck continues for the driver of the number 47, Tom Fox.
Right rear of that car is caved in as he and Burgetti came together, and he has a flat right rear tire on the 47 car. The Cohen.
Well, looks like these drivers ready to go back to green flag. As a matter of fact, the Super Sport pickup just getting out of the way of the charging SK Modifieds as they came down the straightaway. They're back at the restart line. They're back in the green flag action. John Brower out in front for the moment. Here comes Ed Reed Jr. The number 72, Don Fowler getting up to speed in the number 26, working the outside groove against Brower as they come down the straightaway. Brower will keep the lead this time around.
Ronnie Silk looking for his first win of the year is right in the mix in fourth place. Charette, remember he only got a half a lap of practice, and Michael Gaeta is in trouble. He is in the middle of the infield. He gets that car rolling, so we stay rolling on the green.
So as you can see, side-by-side action all the way through up the top 10 spots, 15 spots as they continue and some tight competition here in the SK Modified division. It's Brower continuing to lead from the pole position, and he's held on to it all the way through that.
Some guys trying to fight their way to join Brower are Janovic, Gaeta, and Jeff Pearl. We are going to have a contest for the lead, and I think by toenails, it is Don Fowler to grab the top spot momentarily from Johnny Brower.
A lot of folks in that group have held checkered flags in their storied careers, that's for sure. That's quite a group of drivers out there. Anything can happen, and often does in this division. 22 laps are on the scoreboard.
And the Brower power has reasserted itself down the backstretch as they bombard their way into the third turn. Brower is back in front. Ed Reed, probably the hungriest driver for a victory, now is pulled slightly away from Ronnie Silk. Ed Reed is in third, and here comes Fowler making a counterattack.
Don Fowler working that outside groove. That car is set up. Does he have the handling? Does he have the horsepower? Not this time by. Looks like John Brower will hold on to the lead and knocking at the door. We've got Ed Reed Jr. and Ronnie Silk.
It looked like Fowler got a little too far outside of the fourth turn for his liking. Let's see how he attacks it this time. Much better, but he still can't wrestle the lead away from Fowler. A car is in the middle of turns 1 and 2, and we have a break in the action as Brower continues to have the advantage. But the race is on hold as out comes the gold with 19 laps to go.
Fowler's running very strong as well.
Probably the best that Fowler and Brower have run this year. As we get ready for action, Brower, great start, being shoved by Ed Reed.
A lot of times you see the gamemanship of the drivers slowing down the guy that's going to set the pace on the restart. Wasn't happening with Johnny Brower. He had his foot on the pedal through the floor on that restart, and it's paying off for him as he continues to hold on to the lead.
But Fowler continues to pester him. Here comes Fowler. He is hanging on like gum on the bottom of his shoe. They swing around the fourth turn. Fowler by centimeters in top.
So a new leader that time by, but Johnny Brower's not going to let that slide too long as he keeps the 49 where he says he wants it, on the inside groove. Power going around a little bit. That's Charette out in the middle of the action. Ronnie Silk going around as well on the contact. Chris Druin and John Bergenti coming together. We see a piece of somebody's bumper going across the track.
Boy, what reflexes by Ronnie Uhas as he was able to, and he is desperate for a victory. We'll see what unfolds as we go back to green flag racing.
No question about it. He's on the inside of row number 2, right next to Jeff Pearl. Jeff Pearl very good on the restarts, and see what they do from the second spot on. As you can see, 4 cars packed together on that restart. We're getting some smoke out of the Dennis Charette automobile. We'll keep an eye on that as he is towards the back of the pack. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, a great battle going on between Fowler and Brower as Now Brower side by side with Reed.
So Brower, remember, he did not want to go on the outside. Let's see what Ed Reed can do as he hurricanes his way into the fourth turn. Give Ed Reed second place, and now he attacks Don Fowler. Could this be Ed Reed's night?
Ed Reed working the outside groove. That car can run out there. It has been through most of the night, and he's got the 72 dialed in. Rob Janovic also wanting to make it 2 in a row in the SK Modified division. He is up there right behind Don Fowler as well. So Don's got to be really looking in the mirror and saying, oh my gosh, here comes Rob Janovic, because that car has been set up the past few weeks. He's got a victory 2 weeks ago.
So the top 3 cars can fit inside a hula hoop. Here comes Ed Reed, outside, looking fast, looking strong. He looks like the leader as they head into turn 4.
Ed Reed trying to hold on the outside. He will indeed take the lead as we have a caution flag on the track as Chris Druin and looks like
Betcourt in the 00 mark. Wow. What a battle shaping up between
and of course Jeff Pearl. Jeff knows how to get to the winner's circle and that number 71, so keep an eye on those drivers as well. Jeff Pearl, one of the best at restarts.
So we're ready to turn the switch on what should be a good restart, and Ed Reed fired up at the front of the field.
Ed Reed making his way down the back straightaway to number 72 in hot pursuit. That's number 51 of Rob Janovic Jr. Rob Janovic clearly in the second spot all by himself right now, trying to improve on that as he follows Ed Reed around the speedway. Laps now ticking down in our SK Modified feature event. Ed Reed and Janovic, and you can see the distance closing between those two automobiles.
So a couple of Waterford drivers going 1-2. That's Reed and Janovic. And Daly wound up in the dirt, and the yellow comes out, and Jeff Pearl in trouble in car number 71 as the gold comes out again with 11 laps to go.
So we have cars scattering around out there on the front straightaway.
Yeah, I guess
Free barbecue?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That goes without saying. That doesn't get him nothing will. Meanwhile, back at the front of the pack, we're about ready to go back to green flag racing. Ed Reed, Rob Janovic Jr. They're ready to go on the restart.
Great restart, Ed Reed. So Reed has been tough, especially on the restarts, but here comes Rob Janovic. He is on the prowl in car number 51. Behind him, a side-by-side shootout between Fowler and Pastriak.
So Pastriak working the outside groove against Fowler as we have, looks like Betcourt once again bringing out the yellow flag. And I get the feeling the next time that happens, or maybe this time, he may be spending some time in the infield. It's definitely a car that's not under control.
Larry did a great job.
Yeah, no question about it. We'll see that car in action with the number 6 on the side next week. Great job by the crew for Larry Goss. Right now, however, we should be getting back to SK Modified Racing very quickly, or we thought very quickly, but once again, the Chevrolet Super Sport pickup truck heading back out onto the track. We try to keep the field.
Ford pickup truck is at the center of the field, and the spotlight is on our drivers.
Ed Reed blasted out of a cannon on there, but he's not going to get away from Rob Janovic Jr. Janovic jumps into the second spot right on the tail of the 72, in the jet stream, if you will. Also on the outside, a little bit farther back, is Chris Pastriak, the gentleman in the third place in the point standings, so looking for more.
Janovic all over the back of Reed's car like static Klig as he is clinging to second. Here is Pastriak trying to pull ahead in third against Fowler. And Dennis Gaeta, he is in a contending position in fifth.
So Dennis Gaeta trying to make his way to the front. Of course, fifth, a big number in his career, 5 straight SK Modified Championships for the number 3. Trying to get through the traffic, trying to get to the front. But he's got a tough road to hoe. He's got the 72 out in front, running very well with Rob Janovic right behind him.
Fowler almost Velcro to the side of the Pastriak car. So Fowler, his best ride of the season in 2004, as he is just ahead, is a little stutter step by Pastriak as the yellow comes out, and that is McKnight again bringing out the yellow in turn number 2. but a little difficulty for Chris Pastriak.
A little bit farther back in the pack, but all eyes will be on the restart line. All eyes will be on Ed Reed Jr. and Rob Janovic. This is a great battle at the front of the field. The restart should be amazing. Ed Reed blasting out, but here comes Janovic. Reed checks up for the moment. Janovic uses the outside groove in the number 51. They're coming down the back straightaway. Reed looks like he's got his groove back.
Ed Reed is able to nitro his way a handful ahead of Rob Janovic. Fowler and Pastriak continue to battle each other in third or fourth. And here comes Ed Reed pulling away by a car length over Janovic. Slight contact between Fowler and Janovic, but nothing can slow down the 51 as he tries to lasso car number 72. He's all over him like ring around the collar as they head into turn 3.
And here they come back out of turn number 4. Ed Reed continues to lead. The battle on the track is for the 3rd and 4th spot, respectively. That's Don Fowler and the number 5 of Chris Pastriak. Have a car around. It's John Bergenti again spinning that car around.
And another restart for Ed Reed. And the reason I keep bringing that up, and we make the claim that you're only as good as your last restart. I remember about this time last year, and they're going to get reacquainted with Rob Janovic as they go for the lead.
Coming back to the restart line, great restart for Reed as Janovic jumps into the 2nd spot right behind him, ready to make his move, and he's going to have to make it fast. Next time by, there will be 3 laps left to go in this one as they break away a bit from the field coming down the straightaway, so a lot of speed in both of those 2 cars as they cross the line.
Let's see where Janovic is going to try to make his move. He aims it down low, but he doesn't have enough giddy-up to get close enough to Ed Reed to make the move work.
Next time by, the clench flags in the hands of Billy Dunn show us that we have 2 laps left to go. Reed with Janovic stapled to the back bumper of the automobile, side by side behind them, as we have Pastriak battling it out with Don Fowler for the 3rd spot on the speedway. Janovic goes low, can't make it happen this time. White flag out, he's got to make it happen within the next 3 turns of the 3/8 mile oval. Ed Reed trying to take home his first feature win of the 2004 season. He and Janovic battling it out. It's going to be Reed, followed by Janovic, Fowler. Too close to call for the 4th spot on the speedway between Gaeta and Chris Pastriak. We'll leave that up to our official scores. But Eddie Reed taking home a great victory here tonight in the number 72. Of course, a long time coming for that. Let's go to Matt trackside.
So we are down here in Victory Lane, ready to talk to our top 3 drivers. A man who was very optimistic at the start of the night, and he really had an outstanding run. In car number 26, Don Fowler. And Don, an intense battle between you and Chris Pastriak for 3rd and 4th. What was different about your car tonight?
Well, actually, we got it working for a change. I got to compliment these guys that raced with tonight. They raced me clean, and this is great racing. That's what I'm here for. We've had some bad luck so far this year, overheating incidences where we get caught up in some other things, like we ripped the nerf part off last week here, and we can't race without it. All right. But the guys did a heck of a job. They got this thing working real good for me. I got to thank my sponsors, especially the car owner, Steve Volk, for his Middlesex Twin Pseudo Academy of Karate. My doctor, dentist, James Watt, Mystic, Bill Johnson, Marine over at Mystic also. And the guy who builds my motors, I got to give him a special thanks. He does give me some good power. I just got to learn how to hook it to the ground a little bit more. And, I got John Quant, who works endlessly on this car, day in and day out. And that guy, I got to hand it to him. Without him, we're not here.
Well, now he's here in 3rd place, his best finish of the year for Don Fowler. And now we are going to talk to the man who finished 2nd, and what a role this man is on. First, 2 weeks ago, and tonight he was a strong 2nd. The driver of car number 51, Rob Janovic Jr. Well, Rob, I thought you almost had Ed on one of those restarts. It was quite an intense battle, you and Ed, all those restarts. How would you assess your run tonight?
Very good. You know, I was thinking the last week we won, and you know, we started up front, but and I feel it was a dominating win. But I really wanted to come from 13th and win, and we came close. Eddie, I knew if Eddie was behind me, he would have raced me clean. And I definitely was going to do him. I could have spun him. I could have got him sideways a ton of times. But I know Eddie races me clean. I'll race him clean. When I was on the outside of him, he was good to me. So, you know, I mean, we'll be able to laugh about it after the race and have a good time. And yeah, you know, it was a good run.
Well, one thing I did notice to the drivers in the upper echelon tonight, the top 6 or 8, there was a lot of respect out there tonight.
You know, that's one of the things that I love about racing modifieds, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get into modified so bad, because, you know, there isn't anybody in this division that I hate, and I know that's a strong word, but there's nobody that I really dislike, and there's nobody that I don't want to race against. Sometimes in the late models there was a few rotten apples, but in the modifieds there's a lot of respect. But, you know, I was remiss last week to not mention my sponsors. You know, Big A Auto Parts, North Branford, Affordable Plumbing, Janitor Home Improvement, Managed Chevrolet, Serve Pro in Norwich came on this year as a big sponsor, and John, I appreciate it so much. Cyclone Home Systems, you know, they've been great to us. And I got to thank GCR, because I'll tell you what, I'm glad we went with them. They're building us some really, really good power, and you could see it.
Well, Rob, a lot of people will want to know what you have done the last couple races to turn your season around. And we're going to shut off the speaker in the paddock so they can't hear what you say. What have you done, man, because you've turned this into a rocket ship?
You know, last week, believe it or not, we got some breaks. I mean, the breaks went our way for a change. Tonight, I mean, there was 3 or 4 times that we were either close calls or I was in the right lane, and I mean, it just worked out for us, and that's what we were missing earlier in the season. You know, we had a lot of bad luck, but I'll tell you what, hats off to my crew, and I know this is a lot of times sounds like lip service, but, you know, we were getting down and down and down, but the guys kept digging deeper, and a couple of guys on my crew in the last couple weeks, man, we've all gotten really, really, really into the car and working really hard, and now this even pumps them up more, so it's great. We'll be doing it every week.
And I think one more thing, I think we got to give a little props, baby, to this man here, the driver of car number 72, because it's been a long time between victory speeches for Ed Reed Jr., and tonight was his night.
You know, I'll tell you, it's been a while since Eddie's won, and I won last week. You know, I know as bad as he wanted to win tonight, that if I did get a good bid on him or I got beside him, he would have been a gentleman and he would have raced me clean. So, I mean, he deserves it.
Okay, that's a story for the driver of car number 51, Rob Janovic Jr., as he is the first one to congratulate our winner tonight. What's been a great run. So now, let's meet our winner of tonight's 35 lap SK Modified feature, Ed Reed Jr. Ed, welcome back to Victory Lane.
Man, it's been a long time. This is what it looks like, huh? Boy, I tell you, I gotta thank my guys. Boy, they put in a lot of hard work. Didn't think I could get here for them, but I guess I still know the way. I gotta thank my sponsors, Mr. Pizza. These guys are great, man. Mark Adams came aboard this year, took a little risky maneuver with me, and we made it pay off for him tonight. Head Insurance, I gotta thank Paget and Sons Towing. I gotta turn around and look because I don't remember them all too excited. Fairlander Collision Center, Concrete Express, Larry's Awesome Motor. Got free freshman last week, and we seem to got it hooked up now. I think Rob actually had a little bit faster car, but we had the bottom line, and if he was gonna beat me, he was gonna beat me on the outside.
You know, they really made you work for it tonight. All those restarts at the end where you had to prove yourself time after time. How were you able to keep up your concentration? And, you know, if you made one bobble, Rob Janovic was going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I actually did make a bobble. I couldn't get into high gear there one time, and Rob got up alongside me. We had to use the old Nerf bars a little bit, but it was clean enough. I mean, Rob's a great competitor, and he knows how it is. You know, I'm going for my first win in the last 2 years, and you know, it was good clean racing.
Well, I know we talked about it in the past, and I said, well, the second places add up, and you're getting a lot of points. And you said you're only concerned about wins because the victories pay the bills. So how big a load off your shoulders is tonight finally getting a win after going winless last year?
It's a great big load. I didn't think I knew how to get back here. I was kind of doubting myself. But the guys stuck with me and my sponsors stuck with me, and we got back. Hopefully we'll be visited more often.
Well, wins come in bunches sometimes, and I think if anybody here can get hot and put 2 or 3 great races together and 2 or 3 wins, it is you. Did you do anything different to your car tonight that's responsible for this finish?
No, like I said, we got the motor freshened up last week. That helps a lot. We were down a lot of horsepower in the beginning of the season, and Gary put a good motor together for us, and it just came together tonight, thankfully.
Well, that's the word for Victory Lane. A man who put on a show like he always does. The driver of car number 72, the king of speed, Ed Reed Jr. So a great moment here in Victory Lane for Ed Reed Jr., Rob Janovic in second, and Don Fowler finishing third. So a great night, and we still have some great moments. The Race of Champions waiting in the wing. Also, we will have our mini stock feature. So to tell you what's ahead, let's go back upstairs with us. Ed Girth Jr., the man who sets up this car. Explain to me, how Dwayne Conan, he struggled last year, and this year he has 2 wins, and your team has 4 wins. How has Dwayne been able to make this amazing improvement?
Basically, we got to chalk it up to Dwayne has a brand new car this year. Last year, he was using my backup car. That thing was bent and twisted like a banana. And we were using it primarily as a backup car just in case I needed something. So we built Dwayne a brand new car. We made it a twin to mine, and obviously the results are showing.
Okay, and here he is, making a belated rush to Victory Lane, and we will get a with Dwayne Conan. 2 wins in 2004. If I said before the season that you'd have 2 wins before the first week of June, what would you have said about that?
I would have said I really thought so.
And why is that?
My big brother helps me set up my car. We have a good team going together. Everybody works together, and yeah, you can't thank him enough.
Okay, so that's the story. The winner was Dwayne Conan of our Sportsman feature, his 2nd win of the year. So, from Victory Lane, we go back to Mark Fish.
Thanks a lot. We're going to be moments away from bringing our Nextel Cup stars out onto the track. As you can see, there are Bob Valenti Automall late model cars out there in the staging area in turn number 4. They will be pulling out onto the front straightaway in a few short moments. We will introduce these drivers to you prior to the start of the race. Of course, they're drivers who usually need no introduction when you talk about the likes of the beautiful car, and put a number 6 on it for our next action with the late models.
So Billy Dunn, the man on the flag stand. We are underway.
Kerry Earnhardt on the outside in the number 3 automobile, trying to find the traction out there, the handling, and the horsepower to get by the number 36, driven by Ken Schrader. Ken Schrader on the inside puts that car in the front. Bill Elliott on the inside groove, also trying to get to the front.
So these drivers getting acclimated to the track to try to find out where the groove is, and it looks like Earnhardt might have found it, but nobody's found it better than Ken Schrader as he pulls out to an impressive lead.
Well, we've seen that number 36 in that position during the season before, and now we have Ken Schrader out there continuing that fine tradition. Ken Schrader, as we mentioned before, no stranger to short track racing, that's for sure, with a sizable lead over Kerry Earnhardt in the number 3. Of course, Bill Elliott, no stranger to short tracks as well in the 35, trying to get the handling down.
So it is Earnhardt trying to hold off the very tough Bill Elliott, and now the lead is evaporating. It is shrinking, it is dwindling, so Schrader has some company at the front of the field.
Kerry Earnhardt in the number 3, trying to get by. Earnhardt looks to the inside, looks to the outside, trying to get by Kenny Schrader. Bill Elliott, meantime, looking on. He's trying to find a handle on that, trying to get by Kerry Earnhardt in the number 3, the USS Chatterpot car, in the hands of that great second-generation driver. Third generation.
You know, I think Bill Elliott has some tricks up his sleeve as he is hanging around third. Earnhardt trying to move down low. He moves on the bottom, trying to muscle his way underneath Schrader. They waltz off the 4th turn, and our new leader is Kerry Earnhardt.
Kerry Earnhardt jumping into the lead, the number 3 out in front. Meanwhile, Kenny Schrader trying to hold on to the second spot as Bill Elliott trying to make a move and plug that gap on the low side. Schrader to the outside. Here comes Bill Elliott on the inside trying to gain ground.
And Bill Elliott is in a hurry as he tried to move his way underneath Schrader. Schrader goes up high. Outside groove working for Ken Schrader as he lightning bolts his way into the lead.
So Ken Schrader right back where he started from in the front of the field in that Waterford International car. Making his way through the turns, Kerry Earnhardt now and Bill Elliott side by side. Elliott now jumping into the second spot in the number 35. Bill Elliott. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville looking to the inside now as he makes his way out of turn number 4. Still can't catch Schrader.
Normally, Jay Stewart likes to keep that car on the bottom groove, but Bill Elliott has proved it is a weapon on the outside groove as he tries to flag down the 36 of Ken Schrader. They bustle their way off the 4th turn. Here they come, and it's Schrader by a half a car over Bill Elliott.
So now they'll slow them back down. This is the halfway point, 2 10-lap feature events. So turn them back around.
I think Bill Elliott was just hanging around in the back, getting the feel of the racetrack, getting the feel of the car, and then he took off outside, made that outside groove pass against Kerry Earnhardt, and he gave Ken Schrader a lot to think about. That must be a scary thought when you look in your rearview mirror and you see a portrait of Bill Elliott, one of the best to ever put on a driver's suit.
No question about that. He's seated behind the wheel of the Arbitel Convenience Stores, number 35 out there. One of the great legends in the NASCAR racing, Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia.
Well, they said this is a race of champions, and the first 10 laps really lived up to that designation. Now Kerry Earnhardt is in front, Bill Elliott in second, Ken Schrader, we know the pattern of that car, how it can really comet its way to the front, so it's going to be a very interesting final 10 laps. Billy Dunn turns him loose.
And once again, off and running, Ken Schrader on the outside in the number 36, but he's got a drag race going now with Kerry Earnhardt. Kerry Earnhardt in the number 3, putting it on right now as he's in the front spot on the speedway. Coming down the front straightaway, it is indeed the 3 at the front of the field.
The thickest exhaust fumes being generated by Kerry Earnhardt, but in the neighborhood is Bill Elliott. So we'll see what Elliott can do as they launch their way into the 4th turn. Schrader on the bottom. Schrader is getting serious as they barrel across the stripe.
Well, Ken Schrader tried to take that inside groove, but nothing was happening. Bill Elliott at the 35 in there slammed the door on Schrader. But both of them now will have to chase down the number 3 of Kerry Earnhardt, who's in the front of the field, coming out of turn number 4, coming towards the stripe. It's still the USS Countertop with Kerry Earnhardt behind the wheel.
We saw in the first segment of the race, Bill Elliott is capable of making a pass on the outside of Kerry Earnhardt. Will he be able to do it again? He also has to worry about Ken Schrader, who is hanging on to the back of that car like a Christmas tree ornament.
Well, Ken Schrader, as he looks at the scoreboard when he goes by, he'll note that the laps are continuing to tick down on him. He's going to have to make a move, and that car is very capable of making a move to the front of the field. He's side by side with Bill Elliott right now in the battle for second.
Well, Kerry Earnhardt is surrounded by the thunder of Ken Schrader, the lightning of Bill Elliott. And here comes the 35 of Elliott trying to make a muscle move down low. Elliott looks tough. He looks like our leader.
And Bill Elliott will take over the lead with only 4 laps showing on the Budweiser Racing scoreboard. Bill Elliott in Arbitel Convenience Stores, number 35 at the front of the field. The Autopart International, number 36, driven by Ken Schrader, makes the move to the outside now as they come down towards the stripe. These gentlemen are getting very, very serious. 3 laps left to go, Matt.
And Schrader looks like he has some ammunition on the outside, but Elliott gets a reprieve as Elliott starts to move. 2 laps to go. Will it be Elliott? Will it be Schrader? Will it be Earnhardt?
And when they cross the stripe, all 3 of these drivers getting up close and personal in these automobiles. They seem to have gotten the handle of these cars. It looks like Bill Elliott in the front as they come down through turns number 3 and 4, headed down the straightaway. The white flag flying for Bill Elliott. In the number 35, working the outside groove, that's Ken Schrader. In the number 36, automobile trying to get by on the outside. Kerry Earnhardt also trying to stay up there amongst the leaders. Final turn, this time by Bill Elliott, headed towards the start-finish line. He'll get the checkered flag. Kerry Earnhardt finishes second, and Kenny Schrader coming in third. So tremendous action by all three of these drivers out there. They all had a chance to get to the front, all had a chance to run into clean air out there, and really had a chance to push these automobiles and show what they can do out here on the track. Of course, when we come back the next time with the Bob Valenti Auto Mall late models with their drivers behind the wheels, you're going to see a whole lot more of these cars out here. A lot of slicing and dicing by the drivers normally behind the wheels. Jay Stewart, Mark St. Hilaire, and of course Corey Hutchings. And we're very, very much in debt to these folks for providing those race cars and all the work that they did putting them in there, as well as Larry Goss doing a tremendous job on the setup. Well, of course, they're going to unstrap from inside the automobiles, and all attention will go to our front straightaway. And of course, we'll hand over the announcing duties to our friends Gary Danko and Matt Buckler, who are trackside.
Well, race fans, what did you think of that? Ken Schrader takes off the helmet. In just a moment, we'll talk to him about his third place finish here tonight. Of course, this is a car normally driven by Corey Hutchins, who's our current point leader. How about a big round of applause for Ken Schrader? Kenny, what'd you think of this race car?
Car felt, I mean, it's a really nice race car. Drove good. I had a little problem seeing out of it. I just couldn't see over my hands or the hood scoop. But it drives really nice. What a fun little racetrack. I just hope that race tonight wasn't any indication of what tomorrow is going to be like.
And tomorrow you'll be starting where with your Nextel Cup car?
Lil Schwann's car is starting 15th, so we got a decent starting spot, and we just have to see what happens.
Let's get back to the racetrack here. Where did you like the groove, the inside or the outside?
Wherever they weren't hitting you was pretty good.
Okay, how about a big round of applause for Ken Schrader? Now let's go over to Matt Buckler. He's caught up with our second place driver.
A man who put on a great show tonight to finish in second place, Kerry Earnhardt. Boy, take us through that last lap. It was really breathtaking out there between you're surrounded by two of the legends of your sport. What was it like?
It was a lot of fun, you know. Fun racing with Bill and Kenny and all the guys we do all the time. And, they were racing side by side and kind of holding me up a little bit. So we just took it easy on me, you know, a couple old barriers like that. It can't be too hard. So it was a lot of fun. Got together with the whole team there. And I want to thank Mark and this group for letting me drive that car tonight. It's pretty cool. Car, good car. So, we really enjoyed it. Thank all the fans. This is great. Thank y'all for having us out.
Kerry, what did you think of the Waterford Speedbowl? And a lot of drivers love this track. They say it's a driver's track. What did you think of it?
I'll agree with you. You know, drivers know it. It is a driver's track. It's pretty cool. A lot of work on the wheel and the brakes too. So like I said, a lot of these guys, you know, they do hard work every week, get these cars together, and now you're putting on a show for these fans.
Well, we're going to cheer this man on for the rest of the season. How about a hand for Kerry Earnhardt? And now let's meet the winner of the Race of Champions, and let's go to Gary Danko.
Well, thanks, Matt. Bill Elliott, you said you guys are wild. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's a great racetrack. It seems like a real racy racetrack. It's a lot of fun. You know, these cars are great to drive. I mean, it's so much different than what we drive on the Cup side. But, you know, Schrader's probably got more experience in this stuff than probably Kerry and I put together. But it's a lot of fun. You know, one thing out to get to come out and meet the people and the fans coming out and enjoying the night. And good thing the weather held out good here tonight. We just had a great time and enjoyed signing autographs and meeting people. You know, putting on a little bit of show here for the fans.
As soon as you got in that race car, did you know that you had a good piece?
Well, it took a lap or two for it to come in, because I thought when we started off in practice there, it was pretty decent. And then the longer it ran, the better it got. It's a really good race car.
And, of course, you've been doing a lot of dirt racing this year in 2004. Tell us about that.
Well, it's been going real well. I've been running local shows around my home and venturing out a little bit, just doing different stuff. I plan to run several more Cup races toward the end of this season. And pick it up more than we've run the first half. We're trying to let Casey and Jeremy get their season, you know, where I don't hinder what they're doing. And we've run Abraham cars now twice, once at Texas, once at Vegas. And we'll continue on with that evolution of Ray building his own cars. That's what I ran there. And then we'll continue trying to do a little bit more and running more as the season progresses.
Tell us about that last segment that you raced in. Were you really gunning for the win?
Here tonight? Oh, absolutely. I mean, these guys are a lot of fun, but still, you know, it's a part of who goes home with the trophy, so to speak. And I mean, like I said, these guys are a lot of fun, and Schrader's got so much experience racing so many different things, and he's always hard to beat, especially when we come out to these type racetracks.
Okay, how about a big round of applause for Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, Bill Elliott. Well, Matt, a pretty exciting show tonight with Bill Elliott, Kerry Earnhardt, and Ken Schrader.
Well, you got a very happy crew as the Battleship Bruce Thomas car winds up in Victory Lane tonight in our Race of Champions. So what a show. We still have one more chapter remaining to be written in tonight's race card. The mini stocks will be out here, so hang tough. That should be a great show, and they have a tough act to follow as we saw the legends tonight at the Speedbowl just put on a memorable event. So Mark, what a race and what a moment tonight at the Speedbowl.
Yes, indeed, and just a great show put on by all three of the drivers. Appreciate them taking time out of their busy schedules to be with us here this evening. And a tip of the hat goes all once again heads for cover in the infield. When they make their way back to the starting line, that's right here on the front straightaway. They'll be pushing those automobiles forward, trying to take home the win. As we mentioned before, Glenn Colvin took home the win last week here, followed by Richard Brooks, Dave Sylvia, Nick Papakota, and Joe Babalacco. That was your top five. Let's see what it shakes down as this week. Number 3 of Randy Johnson out in the lead very quickly. And Danny Field, no stranger to the front of the field. Many years he's campaigned an automobile out here, and it looks like he's right at home at the front of the field. The number 18 has the handling and the horsepower early in this one, Matt.
Danny Field out in front, the wild but patient man, and here comes Dan Darnstead. He is striking on the outside of Randy Johnston as they blast their way down the backstretch. It is Dan Darnstead having second over the 3 of Johnston in a car in a dirt run. Fortunately, he has had his difficulties tonight, but he is able to get the car back rolling, which is good news for Danny Field.
Yeah, he spent more time going backwards than forwards, it seems like, here tonight at the Waterford Speedbowl. And he's about to get an opportunity to watch Danny Field go by, because Danny has a fast race car, and Ron Fortune going around again. And he is beginning to be a menace out there, and we'll see what happens with Ron as this race progresses.
Right now, Dan Darnstead, who was able to stay clear of the spinning car, is in second. In third is the 3 of Randy Johnston, and now making a move, that is Williams in car number 91. So Chris Williams in fourth, but he has a problem because ganging up behind him are Bill Leonard in the 8th, and on the outside is Smokin' Joe.
Well, Smokin' Joe Babalacco the last time out was celebrating a birthday, and he celebrated it a nice way with a great finish in that number 20. Right now, he and Bill Leonard are trying to split the difference around Chris Williams in the number 91. But Chris is no stranger to this division. He's raced in it for a lot of years and can hold his own against anybody.
Here comes Glenn Colvin. Last week's winner has become a factor in this race as he is hammering on the back bumper of the 8 of Leonard. So here comes the 39 as he is close enough to do chin-ups on the back bumper of the Leonard car.
Well, we talked about Dan Darnstead doing double duty out there. A lot of seat time for him on the course of a Saturday night, and he has the number 53 out there all by himself in the second spot. Looking back to the third spot, it's the Randy Johnson automobile number 3 in that third spot, just numerically right where he needs to be.
Well, Johnson has a spot. Trouble further in the pack is Leonard is starting to drift backwards in car number 8. That opens up a spot for Rich Brooks, who takes advantage of it. So Brooks is on the move, and following him to the front is the 81 of Phil Evans.
So Phil Evans finding that road quite nice. And, there's been a changing revolving door of drivers in the car, but it's nice to see Phil back behind the wheel, the number 81. And he is wasting no time to get his car up towards the front of the field.
Timmy Jordan wasting no time to get around the 3 of Johnston, and now Timmy Jordan is moved into third. So the warning is in effect. Tim Jordan is on the move. Great battle behind him. Williams on the bottom, and on the top getting the momentum and the firepower is Rich Brooks. And Evans is doing a good job. He knows that Brooks is fast mark, so he is just following Brooks wherever he goes, and that's why he's been able to move up to the front.
You know, we've been keeping an eye on Glenn Colvin in the number 39. Now, Rob Janovic put it quite well that he likes the power that the GCR engine puts out. So you can imagine what Glenn builds for other drivers. What do you think he builds for himself? He's the engine builder at GCR, so he must have a nice, powerful engine underneath the hood of the number 39, and he's showing it right now as he's gaining ground on Darmstadt.
I say that engine probably has a pulse because it is alive underneath the hood of Colvin as he has made a lot of progress in trying to catch Dan Darmstadt. Darmstadt led by a furlong. Now it's by only a few feet.
Yeah, starting to close up on, of course, Danny Field out there all by himself as he continues to make his way around lap traffic here tonight. A lot of rookie drivers out there. Timothy Herbst about to have a lap put on him by Danny Field. Of course, a great battle shaping up for second, as Matt said, between Darmstadt and Glenn Colvin, actually pushing Darmstadt around.
He is hiding out in the glove compartment. Now makes that slingshot move, trying to catapult underneath the 53, and he does. Great move executed by Colvin. Went high to get the momentum, went down to make the pass.
Well, we have a sponsor called the Kart Track out of Enfield, Connecticut, and Glenn spends a lot of time up there sharpening his skills behind the wheels of golf carts indoors on a 400-foot racetrack, and I'm sure a lot of that move right there had to be generated there.
So Danny Field back in his old familiar car, but that lead is starting to whittle away. Here comes Colvin. Colvin might have the fastest car at this stage of the race. Danny Fields is in open air now, but here comes Colvin to be a menace as they hit the first turn.
Glenn Colvin trying to make it 2 in a row for the number 39 as we have problems once again.
I believe that was Brandon Lemons who spun that one around, but we stay green and Field stays in front.
Next time by, 2 laps shown to the field. And that's Danny Field out there in the number 18. So the first trip back to the Waterford Speedbowl behind the wheel of the familiar number 18. Looking very good for Danny Field. But he's got to outrun Glenn Colvin at number 39. He's going to be coming up on a slower automobile right now. Let's see how he managed to get around that slower automobile and head towards the front. 1 lap left to go around the 3/8 mile oval for Danny Field. Here comes Glenn Colvin trying to get a burst of speed out there with the number 39 to challenge Danny Field. Danny coming into the inside groove. And he's on his way towards the checkered flag, so give the win to Danny Field. Glenn Colvin second. Third place goes to Dan Darmstadt. 4th spot will go to Tim Jordan. And rounding out your top 5, that's the number 65 of Richard Brooks. So a nice run for Richard in the number 65. Rounding out your top 5 in a very, very well-run mini-stock race here this evening. Matt Buckler will be heading trackside to talk to our winner. As he has throughout the evening, and loaded that car off the trailer a few hours ago, the way he was running here tonight. It really is a nice sign to see Danny back, one of the most popular drivers in the division, and just a great run in that number 18. I think we're going to see this event happening a few times during the 2004 season, and he's down there with Matt Buckler.
Here's the winner of tonight's mini stock feature, the driver of car number 18, Danny the Wildman Field. Well, Danny, you led every step of the way tonight, but how concerned were you with that 38 car of Glenn Colvin coming up to make things interesting down the stretch?
I was just trying to be careful with the lap traffic. They were kind of a little bit in the way, and I just had to try to find a spot to get around them. But it was really running good, and Glenn was running good. I want to thank my sponsors, Burnett Auto Machine. I want to thank St. Pierre Builders. I want to thank my crew. After the heat race, we lost a throw out there, and we had to pull the train and everything, so we're lucky to get it back together.
Well, how comfortable were you back in reliable car number 18?
It was good to be back. It was good to be back in the 18.
Okay, and this man, it's good to be back in the winner's circle, our champion, Danny Field, and anyone else you'd like to thank for what's been a great ride for you tonight?
Yeah, I gotta thank Soupy because he's the one that loaned me a throw out there and put in, so the 93 Soup.
That's Jeff Savardi, Jeff Soup Savardi in car number 93. Give him an assist, but give most of the credit to this man, Danny the Wildman Field. And we also have our second and third competitors with us. The man who finished second tonight and coming on like gangbusters at the finish, the driver of car number 38, Glenn Colvin. We talk about consistency all the time. Excuse me, car number 39. We talk about consistency all the time. Second last week, first last week, second this week. How were you able to get that consistency?
The car is just solid, and it's just, you know, just getting used to driving it, and the car's great, and the car's fast, and just gotta be patient, and not be, getting into guys and stuff, and just keep it clean. And I gotta thank my crew. I mean, Charlie Andre is my car owner. There's no way I could be racing without him. He does everything on the car as far as during the week, making sure it's straight and, bodies on and everything else. And then the rest of my crew. I mean, I can't thank them enough. I mean, all I do is basically show up and drive.
And if there was a caution at the end and you had a chance for a little restart, how do you think your car might have responded?
I was thinking that. I'm like, we need a caution. I saw a couple spins there. But, I'm glad for Dan. I mean, we had a good, consistent run. Second is great. I just want to keep the family down.
Okay, that's a story from the driver of car number 39 from Clinton, Connecticut, Glenn Colvin. And here's our man who finished third tonight. He really battled all race long. The driver of car number 53, Dan Darnstadt. And I guess, Dan, I don't know if you had the fastest car tonight, but you really gave everything you had. What kind of race was it for you?
It was all right. We got bottled up there a little bit, lost touch with Dan at the beginning. We learned about the same pace. Glenn come up, he was much faster than me. I gave him room. Maybe he had a shot at Dan, but I really didn't have it tonight. The car was pretty good. We're getting better at it. That was a lot of laps tonight. 120 laps tonight between the sticker and the minute tonight. I'm pretty well.
Now you added the Sportsman to your repertoire this year. How has that affected your driving? Does it help you with more seat time? You've been around so long. I think that should be a factor, but explain to us what it is to drive in two divisions.
Oh, it's just another chance to get out there. I enjoy it. I like to put a smile on Ray Senior's face. He's been here a long time too. He was getting tired of getting bounced around, so he figured he'd put me out there and let me get bounced around. I have a really good time though. It's nice when both cars are going good. Some nights we're good with one and not so good with the other, but it's difficult to keep them straight sometimes.
Well, we also enjoy it when you're out there. The driver of car number 53, one of the veterans of the bowl, Dan Darnstadt. So that's our story here in Victory Lane with Danny Field, our winner. And now to put the exclamation point on what's been a memorable night of racing here at the bowl, let's turn it back upstairs to Mark Fish.
Thanks a lot, man. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank